Okay, everybody, so it's no big secret that within the last 10 to 12 months, my shop has undergone some serious transitioning. I've really upgraded to some really big machinery, and one of the biggest transitions was switching over to a sliding table saw, which is an absolute must in my shop. So in today's video, what I'm gonna do is start with the sliding table saw and show you my new process for breaking down sheet goods, which I did a video probably about a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago, where I showed you how I used to break down sheet goods with the track saw. And it was a lot of, moving plywood around. And also I want you to make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video where I'm gonna tell you how you can get 5% off any of your purchases or your entire purchase from Maxiwa, because I have a special discount code for you guys and a special affiliate link. So let's go into breaking down the sheet goods here. I'm going to walk you through the process. I'm going to show you how much better it is for me and how it helped me be more productive and make me a lot more money in my shop. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I need to do before I even start bringing the plywood over to the table saw here and throwing it up on the sliding part of the panel here is to set all of my my fences, my rip fence, my stop block. I have the cross-cut fence set up perfectly for 90. So what I'm gonna do is look at my plans here. I'm making a built-in bookcase for a client that I'm working on. You've probably seen some short videos. I've been doing all kinds of crazy moldings in there. Well, I'm also doing built-ins in that house. I'm doing their kitchen as well. So there's gonna be a lot of videos in the shop coming. So first thing I need to do is I'm gonna be ripping the plywood parallel to the width that I need. So first thing I'm gonna do is set my rip fence to the width of the longest pieces I need, which is 305 millimeters wide, or roughly 12 inches wide, and 613 long. So I'm gonna set the rip fence to 305. That's gonna be my parallel cut to make the width for me. And then I'm gonna set my stop blocks on the cross-cut fence to the 1613, which you normally can't do with a regular table saw. So what we're gonna do is just move this out of the way here for a second. Now, I can just go here and I can look on my scale. I have a metric and imperial scale on this, and I'm gonna set this to 305. And then I could just set it here, look down, lock it in place, and I'm good. But I always still, because I don't have a digital readout on this. Now, there is a model that Maxiwa has where they have digital readout for the fence and for the stop blocks. Okay, so just looking at this right here at 305, I'm absolutely perfect. Then, same thing with this here. Now, I need 4 pieces of 305, but I also need them to be 1613 millimeters long. I think that's roughly like 64 inches. So 1613 is, yeah, it's roughly 63 and a half inches. Okay, so now that I have the width set, I'm gonna loosen up the stop block here, move this down. 11, 12, 13 should be right there. Okay, so now I have my stop block set on the crosscut fence, have my rip fence set, and I'm ready to start cutting. Now, I'll get my plywood cart here. What I like to do with this flip cart is I found this in my attic when I was moving. I had it for when I had my original first sliding table saw. And I was like, you know what? Let me not throw it out. And I'm glad I didn't, because I wound up needing it. Now, plywood can get a little slippery and it can be very splintery. So I like to use these gloves that have the rubber grip on them so that I can easily pull out the sheets that I need from the rack here and not slip as I'm cutting them, and also not get any splinters. And my hands are absolutely nowhere near the blade on a sliding table saw. Not only do you have the guard, but your hands just stay on the workpiece and they don't go anywhere near the blade at all. So when I'm processing sheet goods, I can use this safely. Trust me, if it wasn't safe, I wouldn't show you guys. I wouldn't be using it. Then I lock the table in place. Okay, and then I'm gonna drop this down roughly in the center. We'll get it close to centered so that it's balanced. Okay, then I can unlock my wheels. And then the best part about this now is the struggle is over. I can take this piece just like this. I can spin it around and you can see how easily I can move this. I'll bring it over here and I'm gonna flip it up onto a sliding table carriage. Loading this has never been easier. I don't have to carry it around with a handle. Now all I have to do, just get this quickly out of the way. I'm gonna put this right up there. And now since the table is locked in place, I don't have any worries about when I'm putting it up against the fence if this is gonna start sliding and move out of the way and I'll be chasing it around. So I'll move that to the side. And now I'm gonna put my safety equipment on. The first thing I'm gonna do is when I unlock the table, I'm gonna bring this back. Now, I'm talking you through this, so obviously it's a lot faster when I'm not showing you guys what I'm doing and talking about it. But when I process this, it literally takes like 2 minutes to process. Very, very quick. So I'm just gonna sight down the board here, and I'm only gonna cut off about maybe 5 millimeters or a little less than a quarter of an inch, because I like to get rid of the factory edge. The factory edges are always jagged and rough. They're not cut straight. So we're basically straight line ripping the plywood here by cutting off that little 5 millimeters. So hopefully you can hear me over the machines. Might be a little loud, but I like to use this handle as a butt bar so that I can position myself between the plywood and the fence and rip. Just like that, straight line. Throw that off to the side. I'm shutting the machine for a second because I want to quickly talk you through this next step. So obviously I have the scoring blade going. That scores the bottom of the veneer, gives me a nice cut, clean cut on both sides. And I have a high count tooth here. I think this is 96 teeth. This is the plywood melamine blade that I'm using for this. Now here's the thing with the sliding table saw, that in the beginning, I wasn't really aware that, I thought like regular cabinet saw, you would stand back here and you would try to get it against the fence and then you would angle it in and then you would push it diagonally. That's how I used to do it. You really can't do that on a sliding table saw, because sliding table saws, the carriage has what's called a toe out, and that's to prevent, as you're running the wood through on the carriage, it moves slightly away from the table saw I have it set to about 1/1000th of an inch. Now, the reason is for binding purposes and pinching and recutting on the back of the blade. You don't want to be cutting twice by having this thing towed in or completely straight, because as you push it through, what could happen is you can make the cut up there at the front. By the time you get to the back of the blade, you're actually cutting this end of the plywood again, and then you are making that piece not parallel anymore. So what I've learned to do is stand on this side here. I lock the rip fence in place. I have it up against my fence. There's my straight edge. Now I make sure I'm making great contact. Now obviously I would still have the saw running if I wasn't showing you guys what I was doing. But since I'm trying to coach you guys through this whole entire process, I have to go underneath to hit the button to turn this thing on. So let's get the dust collection going. And you're gonna notice that as I feed this through, I'm keeping the pressure from the side up against the fence, and I'm just walking it right through. And I'm gonna cut 4 pieces on this right here all at the same time, because I need to make 2 bookcases. So I'm gonna cut all my sides at once. So the process is just so much quicker. Obviously, if I didn't have you guys with me right now, I would have been done a long time ago. Okay, so really quick, you can see I got that rolling outfeed stand from Maxiwa. I love using this thing because now I don't have to put my workbench over there anymore. And you can see that the piece is completely supported, rolls right off the table here onto that, and then I can roll it back. I don't even have to walk around the saw anymore. I can take this piece, and I'm just gonna put it off to the side here because I need to cut the rest of this sheet. So I stack it here, just like this. And now it's so much lighter to carry, obviously, right? So now I'm just gonna repeat the process and cut as many of those pieces I can get out of here. I need 4. Now, can I get 4? Maybe not. Maybe I can get 3 and I'll have a strip left over, which can be a nailer board or something like that. But I know that I have other pieces of plywood because I've already made a cut list for this, and I know exactly how much plywood I'm gonna need for this project. So now I'm just gonna continue to rip those other pieces. Once I have all the pieces ripped to the 305 that I need, which is 4 pieces, then I can bring the piece over and just turn it around, put my stop block back this way, and start cross-cutting my pieces. So I'll show you that in a couple of seconds. So let's process the rest of this panel really quick, and you can see how effortless it is. I'm not struggling to hold this big, heavy piece as I rip it along the fence. the carriage is taking care of all that weight for me. Okay, I have all 4 of my pieces cut right here to 305 millimeters. So now I'm going to take my piece. Obviously, I need to take all of them. Now, you can also take multiple pieces at a time. This blade comes up to about, at 90 degrees, about a little more than 3.5 inches. You can cut at one time, close to 4. So what you can do is you could stack multiple pieces, but I don't really like to do that because I have a tendency to try to move too fast, and sometimes I'll have the piece up against the fence on the top, but the bottom piece didn't quite sit exactly flush to the fence, and if it's not dead on and you make that cut, both of those pieces, you're gonna have discrepancies in them. So we wanna avoid doing that. So what I'm gonna do is just take one side, they're both parallel, so they're both straight edges, and I'm gonna unlock my fence now that I have all my widths cut to what I need. I'm gonna move that out of the way. I'm just gonna slide it down just enough just to get it out of my way, because I'm gonna have some excess after I cross cut this edge 90 degrees here. I need to flip the piece over and then put it against the stop block, and that'll be our reference edge. And that's how I'm gonna get all my lengths. Hopefully you can hear me, but what I like to do is move this handle in, because now I give myself a little pressure, and I use my button and my hand as I slam against the fence, push it down. Now this is a perfect 90 degrees to this edge. Now I've always been taught to take that same edge and put it up against the fence. Now these are parallel, so you can rotate it, but I'm very much a traditionalist, so I'm going to keep that reference edge against that fence. Now I'm also going to use the bottom of this piece if I need to push that fence down more, get it out of my way completely. Back up against the fence here, and then I'm going to slide it right to my stop block. That's the distance I need to make multiple pieces. Then this off cut here will be my top and my bottom of all the pieces left over to make the entire bookcase. Walk it right through, and I can take it. Now I can stack them all on here. Keep that over there. This piece off to the side. Next piece comes in. Stop block up. You just want to cut off as little as possible. Okay, so I have all my pieces now cut to 1613 millimeters or 63.5. Now I need this bookcase to be 600 millimeters wide, but the plywood thickness is 18 millimeters. So I have to subtract 36. I have that written in my plans right here. So I have 564 millimeters long. So I'll just move my stop block back. Now I have 2 stop blocks. What I could have did was I could have set one at 564 and I could have set one at 613. But what happens is when you get caught up filming these things and trying to explain everything, you forget what you do production-wise on a normal basis when you're not worried about the camera. So I forgot to set that before. So I'm setting it now, and I'm telling you that you can really speed up the process by what I could have done was I could have flipped my stop block at 613, made my first cut, then took my smaller piece, flipped this one down at 564, slid it over, and then cut that piece. And then you'd be tripling your productivity because you'd be cutting so much faster, everything at one time, instead of putting a piece over here, the long piece, and then the short piece over there, coming back and recutting that short piece. So take that into consideration that I screwed that up because of worrying about the camera. Okay, so now let's talk about getting 5% off on these machines. You go to my channel, go on to the links that I have there. You'll look in the description also. If you look in the description of this video, you will see an affiliate link to the Max Sewell website. That's my affiliate link. You will click on that link. It will bring you right to the website through my affiliate link. It won't cost you a dime more than the original price of everything. But if you use my special code, which I'm going to put right here at the bottom of the screen also, it's all capital letters. It's my name, Anthony, and then the number 5 attached to it. All one word with the number attached to it, all capitals. That will give you 5% off on your entire order. And not only will you get the 5% off, but if you go through my link and use that link to take you to the website, and then they can track all of the activity that I send to the website, and I get a small commission on that sale as well. Now, it doesn't cost you anything more, but it helps me out. It also helps the company out to track what I'm doing, because I am a brand partner with this company. So it is a sponsored video, yes, but the only reason that I'm sponsored by this company is because I actually love their equipment and I use it on a daily basis. What I do is bring you the information and the stuff that you need to make yourself either a better cabinet maker, carpenter, or woodworker. So it's almost a year that I have this saw. This thing runs anywhere between 5 and 8 hours a day. And I have put this thing through the ringer. I can absolutely tell you that this saw is a beast. It's 5 horsepower. The sliding carriage on it, the mechanism is unbelievable. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely check back next time. I'm going to be doing a lot of work. I got a kitchen to build for this job that I'm doing. I'm going to finish up these bookcases, and then hopefully I'll do some shorts on the, the Craftsman casing. I want to do a quick walkthrough with you on the house that I just trimmed out. This is the house that I'm doing the bookcases and the kitchen for now. So you're going to be getting a lot of videos out of this. So definitely hit that subscribe button and make sure that you guys give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and check the description for all the links to Max Eva's website with the discount code and all that stuff, so you can enjoy a little bit of a discount on high quality tools. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me in the shop.